Hi everyone, welcome back. So I had been having like the best morning ever. I've cried so much this morning and it's all tears of joy. Like I can't even believe that the heart is capable of love. Like my heart has been cold as ice for so long. I didn't know that it could still beat at all. And I'm not kidding when I say that. I I've been dead for quite a while, metaphorically. Also, technically, literally, though, I did die in 2019, but metaphorically, I didn't know that I don't know, I didn't know I was capable of love. Uh, the best way to know that you're capable of love is where's your level of forgiveness? Like, that's the most unconditional love that I think people can give. And when you see yourself do that, when you see yourself capable of giving that love to someone, you realize you really are divine then. And you'll never settle. You'll never go back to a different kind of partnership. You'll never go back to a toxic friend group, bad job. This is one of the hardest things I've ever done. I'm going to tell you guys about my story with my dad. When I was 2 years old, I was adopted. And my biological father gave me up for adoption, signed over his rights. And so I was adopted by my stepdad, who was at the time in the military. And so my biological dad actually thought that because he was my military dad, was so polished, had money, a future ahead of him, was already like stationed abroad. He'd already lived this cultured life that he was better for me than a guy who played video games and got high all day. So he signed over his rights to me. And so I never got to see him ever again until I was 18 years old. I saw him like one summer when I was, I think, 11 or 12, but I don't really remember him too much there. Long story short, I was adopted and I was abused every single day. My military dad, he was kind of created. The system kind of created him. You guys ever see that movie, The Hunger Games? Well, when PETA was kind of brainwashed by the Capitol, that's how my dad treated me. Like he hated me and only me. I was the only one abused in the entire family because I didn't look like him, because I'm not biologically his child. I represented the one guy that he hated. So I was tortured every single day until I was about 16 years old. Once I was 16, I had gained enough weight. I was in 10th grade. I was the heaviest girl in my class, in my basically the whole grade. And I'd gained enough weight. I'd become big enough that I could finally fight him off, because technically in the military, you have to have like a certain stature. You got to be like small and petite. I didn't have to be that way. And since my biological dad was like 6'3" and 300 pounds or something, he was like 350 maybe even. He was pretty big. So he was like kind of a brick wall. I started to. That's when my food addiction really started, because I was trying to protect myself. So I gained a whole bunch of weight in 10th grade, which at 16 years old, as a girl who's already the drama geek and in Glee Club, like I was already the weirdo. I didn't need to stick out like a sore thumb, but I definitely did. I remember the last time he ever put his hands on me was one day after school. He had pushed me onto the bed. I bounced back with such a momentum because my weight had been so big. I had blown up like a balloon, really. I remember the momentum of the springs was forwarding me, propelling me towards him. It was like there was momentum almost from the universe, like, this is it, bitch, this is it. And I blacked out. I don't remember what I did. I don't remember. All I know is it was 16 years of pain and trauma in one 30-second moment. And he never touched me again, and I never stopped replaying it, like that is how a woman stays safe. So when I finally later on would start dating, and then I got married, I associated my size, my weight, with protection. So I ballooned up. The highest I ever got was 415 pounds, to a point where I couldn't even tie my shoes. But that weight was a protective barrier between me and men, because I didn't have any other protection. There was no one else. There was nothing else. No one was going to protect me. The man that chose me didn't even want to protect me. While everybody was like, wow, he's such a sweetheart, isn't he taking on somebody else's kid? No one knew what was really going on. And so I had siblings. My mom and stepdad had 2 kids that looked identical to him. So of course, they were favored beyond belief. And then there was me. And I'm 34 now. I'm divorced. I had a ton of failed relationships, to a point where I always looked at men like, you're out to get something. You're going to hurt me in some way. And it always happened because I had that assumption. Men are going to hurt me. Men are going to hurt me. And lately, I don't know what's been changed. I don't know. I think it's that I met my twin flame about 6 months ago. I think this is what triggered it really for me, is wanting to heal that distorted masculine view in myself. I want to see men differently. When you meet your twin flame, you see the best and the worst in everyone. You see the best of them and you see the worst of them. And I saw this template, this blueprint of my twin flame being like the perfect man. Because he is. He's perfect in my eyes. He's perfect in God's eyes. He's perfect. His God self. That's what I see. So why then, if I see his God self, am I seeing everybody else in their distorted devil self? And that's when it really started to dawn on me that I have trauma from childhood I hadn't dealt with. So instead of going to therapy, which I'm not saying that's a bad, go to therapy for real. Therapy helped me for 10 years, but I'm not doing that anymore. I'm actually revising now. Last night, it might have been the night before, for the first time, I felt free because I visualized my dad, my stepdad, defending me. He had never done that before, and so all men that I'd been with would never defend me. If another man was verbally attacking me or assaulting me in some way, which has happened repeatedly, either friends, a monster-in-law, someone was always gossiping about me. Projecting onto me that I'm, just a whole bunch of things. The men in my life would never stand up and defend me, and I didn't realize that it was me that was assuming they wouldn't. So I started by seeing my dad in my head, in my imagination. I was just meditating for this didn't even take but a minute, 1 minute, and it was a looped scene that took 30 seconds, but I did it twice. I saw my dad telling people who were gossiping about me at a party. I saw them all at a party, and someone had mentioned me and gossiped about me, which used to happen a lot. And instead of him just sitting there nodding his head, he actually said, wait, what? That's my daughter and I love her. Don't ever talk about her again like that, ever. Don't ever mention her again in this home in a derogatory way. And everybody in the vision was just like, what? Because that had never happened. I was always the butt of some joke or talked about as the one that would always fail, and so I always failed. And people really weren't, believing in me at all, because, and I kept believing in me. I kept seeing visions of what my future would be, starting my business, divorcing my husband. I knew that if I would do that, I would be in a better, healthier partnership. I believed in me, but no one externally of me believed in me. And I saw it in that vision. This might have even been yesterday. It was yesterday or the day before. And things have changed so drastically. It's insane. The way that I am treated, and because guys, revision, right? It's a manifesting technique. Neville Goddard talks about it, and I think he actually named it revision. I'm not sure. I think that's his title, Neville Goddard, if you want to look that up. But yeah, revision, it's amazing. It's basically, people think that you can revise the past, right? Kind of scribble it out. Be like, yeah, that happened like that, but but not really. I changed it, right? But people assume that you're changing the memory. You're not changing the memory. Because the past and the future don't exist, you're actually changing reality itself. You are now shifting to a timeline where that event actually did take place that way. So therefore, as a domino effect, the butterfly effect, I don't know if that's actually what the butterfly effect is, but because of the domino effect, everything in your life now looks different. So I started to see my dad, the one man that never, not only did he not defend me, but he's the one that actually attacked me. So this was like really shocking for me to do. And in only last 24, 48 hours, men have been treating me differently. In fact, so much so that I even now have, in only that time, a male client, which I hadn't read for a man in probably over 2 years maybe. And all of a sudden I have a male client, which I'm not saying it will be routine. I don't know, but it's like the first time that even a man has come to me as a psychic. And so I started, using that as momentum and saying like, oh my God, the reality already shifted. I went to the grocery store, 2 grocery stores. The clerk, one of them, flirted with me, which I was like, okay, right in front of the girl who was flirting with him, another clerk, and I could tell that she was not too happy about that. But there was this overwhelming fear that I used to have when I would be flirted with in front of somebody, and they were like, why her? Why her? I would normally stop because as a psychic and I'm very telepathic, I can hear people's projections. And it used to be that if a woman or anybody would be like, ugh, get a room, or don't talk to him. What makes you think you can have him? Something like that. I would normally just stop and I'd back away. But this time I felt her encroaching into our conversation. She like did this with her hair and she kind of like moved towards us to hear, because she was on the neighboring cash register. And I remember I was just like, no, this guy's cute. And I'm going to tell him he's cute. Now, it was just a simple flirting. There was no expectation. I just wanted to tell him he has a great personality. We were talking about how he actually wanted to go back to waiting tables instead of working in retail. And I was like, that's amazing. You're amazing. Your personality, you shine, man. Like you should be doing that. You should be waiting tables. I can see that. And it was just so beautiful because she kind of backed off. She had to. Because I'm God of my reality. And if I say that I am loved and I can give love and receive love, then that's what the fuck is going to happen. So she wasn't able to say shit, and she wasn't able to impede. We had fun. We were laughing back and forth. We were talking about where I moved from. He was talking about how there's no cash back on the register. And I was like, so should I take out $20? Can I get cash back, please? It was fun. Anyway, the point is she, meaning a karmic feminine, meaning any woman, would normally have been able to impede, intercept any sort of connection that I had before. And I would hear her say like, oh, God, he's mine, or I'm interested in him, or something like that. And it's like, it was innocent. This one, I don't think that they were together. I just think they're work colleagues, and I was just a customer. But the point I'm making here is that the masculine within me felt safe enough to protect myself. The masculine within me was like, no, I get what I want. I want to do this because it's fun. I want to do this because he has a great personality and he needs to know it, period. Also, at the end, I felt I literally, as I was walking in my car, I was like, and she now knows she better shit or get off the pot. She better make it happen, because that man's about to get a lot of flirting, a lot of people. So now she will understand. He's a hot commodity. And the grocery store better pay him more as well. Why? Because I'm pretty sure he's an earth angel. Pretty sure. And if that's the case, then his ass is about to be at a 5-star restaurant, while that grocery store is going to miss out on the best employee they've ever had. And so there's so much healing that's taking place between the feminine and masculine dynamic within me, but also within the external and the 3D. And then I went to another grocery store, and this man was standing behind me, and he was like the vibe, disgusting. Oh, it was so bad. And I knew what his intentions were. I knew that because he was not even 2 feet away from me. I remember I kept praying, Archangel Michael, do something, Archangel Michael, do something. Fucking handle that. But what really transpired was that he was standing behind me waiting to put his stuff in the lane, in the checkout lane. And the guy that was the manager was the one ringing me up. And he was like, as soon as I was getting really uncomfortable with this guy standing next to me, I moved over to the woman that was already paying, and I kind of felt weird because I felt like she's there with her checkbook and all of her personal stuff, and I'm like right in her energy now to get away from this guy. And that's when the cashier was like, hey, I'll be with you in just a moment, ma'am. Don't worry about it. I'll be right with you. I'll be right with you. He could sense that something was going on. So he was trying to comfort me right there in that moment because this guy wasn't taking a hint. So it was as if the reality had shifted in one day. In one day. I'd already shifted timelines to a timeline where I've never seen masculines at all, ever attentive, asking questions about me. Like the one register guy, the one cashier, he was like asking where I lived and like before, and I moved here, and he was like, oh, that's really cool. And we were just like, nobody's ever really paid interest in me like that. And it's starting to really open my heart chakra again. And the way that I love my dad now, oh my God. I've always loved my dad, and my dad's always loved me. In this reality, the one that I'm gonna stay in, he's always loved me here. My dad, not the military drill instructor who taught combative arms. He literally did. That was his job. He taught people how to unalive other men. He taught men how to So for, my whole life, I've only seen him like that. But he's not like that. Nah, this is the guy that learned how to juggle, and he would be in a parade every year, and he would ride on this unicycle that's like 6 feet tall just to make people laugh. Same guy. Which version am I feeding? Same guy. I don't want him to be in pain for the rest of his life. Yeah, he might have hurt me, but he was fucking programmed. He was trying to feed his family. Men had to do what men had to do in that old world, It really just breaks my heart that war changed a lot of people at a soul level. And it's like, I don't want to hold that against him anymore. He did what he did. He had to pay for food and housing for his entire family. And at that time, that's all he thought he was good at. He'd only been programmed to believe he's a fighter, he's a warrior, he's a reject. That's what he told himself. And so the only one willing to take him on was U.S. government. So, but he's beautiful. I love him. And I now envision him going to yoga. And like one day maybe he'll watch a tarot card reading because of me, and he's gonna learn like about God, and he's gonna know himself, and he's not gonna hurt me anymore. And in changing him and me, it's changing all men, and that is when I can release a lot of the excess weight that I have too. I don't want to be unhealthy. So I can see now that I don't need my weight to protect me. I need my mind. I need the way that I visualize. I need Archangel Michael. I need masculines to step up. And they are stepping up. In this reality, they've already stepped up. In the reality that I'm in now, the universe I've created for myself, I've shifted consciously to a reality where they've already stepped up. When I first met my twin flame, he was with a whole group of religious men. And, they're all Christian. And so, a couple are Jewish. I'm suspecting a couple are Jewish. And they were thinking they were Christian, but I think they're Jewish, actually. Anyway, point is, very religious, devout religious men. And my twin flame had no idea. how badly I was being hurt by these men at the time. Every time I would go in as a witch, I was persecuted all the time. All the time. Anytime I would be around him, people would instantly attack us both. But it was really them attacking me. But I don't know. It was always hurting him, I think, to witness that, because he couldn't do anything. His arms were tied behind his back. He couldn't do shit. Every time they would say, like, she's a witch, burn her. They literally said this. Legit, literally, in America. In America, in the 21st century. They said she's a witch, burn her. Literally. And so I was like, this is what's going on, and he couldn't defend me. Because I had assumed no men defend women like me. So, I remember this one time, oh God, it was so bad. It was so bad it made me cry. They had this voting. You could vote in the community that we were in. There was like this, on this app, you could vote. And one of the guys said, okay, let's vote. Should we burn the witch or should we drown her? People literally voted. 6 people in that group. There was like maybe 20, 25 people, but 6 people voted. So that was man, that really killed me that day. That was like, are these people really like that? And then I started to see my twin like, you're weak. You're a nobody. I don't want you. Like, but then that's because I have to see that I've been assuming that my whole life. And so what's been changing is that if I can see now that the reality I'm already in, men are different, then my twin is different. I'm different. As a feminine, I'm different. I can receive men differently. And I've even had a dream last night of a masculine being able to love me. And it's like, not romantically, just but that's the thing. Your divine masculine is no longer just one man, Your twin flame is not just one man. Your twin flame is now everybody. It's the guy at the store. It's your boss. It's your landlord. It's the person you call at the call center. It's everybody, right? And if you're able to receive the masculine, you're able to receive help from all of them. Love, give love, receive love. It's an energy flow now in this reality that I'm in. And another example is like I called recently a call center to see if I could get an extension on a payment plan. And she was like, unfortunately, you already have an extension, so I can't do that. But I will get a supervisor and we'll see if we can handle this. And it's like, even people go above and beyond now to take care of me. Like, people go above and beyond. So she even contacted her supervisor, who they sat on they had me on hold for like 15 minutes. So I know they poured over my account. They looked deeply into everything. She's like, we can't give it an extension, but I'm going to give you some other options. So she went above and beyond. She didn't have to, but she did. And so did the supervisor. Because now I assume that happens. I assume people go above and beyond for me, right? So revision, guys. I never used to use it before, but I think it is by far the best technique that I can ever tell you guys about is revision. I want to try SATs next. Like, I haven't really been working on SATs, state akin to sleep. The state right before you drift off to sleep, supposedly, like, your subconscious mind is super impressionable then, and you can kind of absorb a whole bunch of programming and assumptions that you're saying to yourself. I don't know. I'm going to try that soon. That one takes discipline. So it's going to take a minute. But this one's great. This one's great. And it only took me 30 seconds to envision a scene. And my subconscious mind must already believe it, because I'm getting dreams from men that are now almost like a father figure in my life. The clerk who was taking care of me like I was a daughter, and I was like, it's strange. And that's in like 24 hours. Do you know what I mean? That's one day. So the divine feminine, I normally read for, and 95% of my clientele is women, except for over the last 2 years, it's actually been more like 100% women. But it's changing, I think. I think a lot more men are willing and understanding of twin flames, divination, all of it, magic, mysticism, occult. I don't think they're as afraid as I believe they were in one reality. Yeah. In one reality, my twin flame could not defend me. His own friends. And it hurt. I went and I cried, I purged, I healed, and I said, no, I love myself more than this, so I had to take myself away from him. I went no contact. 100% no contact, not talking to him again, because I thought that that's all I'm going to get. No, I deserve better, and I'm going to find somebody new. And then that somebody new was me, and that somebody new was him, a higher version. I had to take myself away from that to see him as a different person. Same with my dad. I haven't talked to my dad in 2.5 years. I had to take myself out of my dad's life to be like, oh, I just remembered him different. I remembered him wrong. Oh yeah, my dad wasn't like that. No. My dad's perfect. He's amazing. He's a great guy. Really, no, he truly is. He really is a great guy. And I'm not, see, that's just it, guys. You're not faking it. You're in a reality where you 100% know that that is the reality. So you live your life based on knowing a different reality. I don't wince anymore when a man gets, upset. I wouldn't even be around men that get upset. Right? Like, I trust myself so much that if a man were to raise his voice to me, I'd be like, excuse you, why don't you go ahead and try that again? Let me know when you're done. I'll be right over here. There's so much more impact, because in this reality, I had a dad who loved me and could teach a woman how to defend herself, right? And in this reality, the universe is my dad now. The father, right? The father energy, the divine masculine is God, and he's everywhere. He's in everyone, and he's in everything. And it's the most beautiful thing ever. And you know what the beauty of it is, guys, is that when God is your lover, when you are so in love with the universe and creating magic on your own as a single person, you will never again be able to have anybody in your life who doesn't give you at least that level of magic. Why would you? Why would you, when you can be alone having tea, talking to yourself, creating magic? Why be in a partnership that takes away from that magic? Why? They're here to add to your life. Really, truly divine masculine would be here to give life and give it more abundantly. Not to strip away your rights, strip away your self-confidence, talk down to you, yell at you. No. So I've never seen, though, this reality until now. It's like it's confirmed. It already happened. It already has taken place. The shift has already taken place. I now see my dad as so amazing. Funny. Everybody loves him. He's the life of the party. He's healed. He goes to yoga. He stands up for himself. He's not a pushover, and and he used to be sometimes. There'd be people in his life that would be able to push him around, which ironically, that is ironic considering he was a military drill instructor, but he used to be able to be pushed around, but now he can't be. And he defends everybody. He loves everybody. So that's one thing that I think is changing in the Divine Feminine Collective that I read for, and I hope inspire, is that you feminines are feeling much more safe around men. You're feeling much more safe. This new earth is beautiful. Women feel safe again, which is going to help relationships in so many ways, but not even just relationships. Going to the store, not feeling all the time like you need to carry a bottle of pepper spray. And I'm not saying, though, that you shouldn't. Can of pepper spray, honey, that's great. Keep it in your purse. but it's like you won't be all the time just trigger ready with it. It's like you're gonna feel safe again in your own frame in the new earth. The new earth is already here. You have to believe that it's already here, right? I could have seen that visual with my dad, but then after meditation I could have been like, wishful thinking. I wish. and gotten out of it. But no, I believe that it's already here now. I believe that that already happened. I believe that that event even took place. No joke. No joke. I actually do think that he was at a party and said that. I really think that it actually happened. Because I envisioned it, right? And so, yeah, last night I had a dream with another masculine who is not my dad, but treated me in the dream very much like a dad would have, like a father figure. Just telling me like, no, I love you and you are safe. And I will always take care of you. I will always protect you. Don't worry. Like I've got your back. And it was the most beautiful moment of my entire life, seeing that my subconscious mind has been impressed that much. You know, having been abandoned by 2 dads. And then my grandpa, who was the only good, you know, role model I had, died at 16. So ironically, at that same age that I had to start protecting myself. So I had 3 masculines in my life, and they were all gone, basically, by adolescence, I guess. So I had to defend me. And I had to be like this very fierce, independent woman, like, stay the fuck away from me. Don't talk to me. Don't touch me. No friends. You know, just a hermit, like, you know, not really going anywhere, not really doing anything. Because I was always scared of the world. I was always scared of what people could say about me, do to me, think about regarding me. Like, I was so scared. But now it's like I've shifted to a reality where no one can hurt me. It's beautiful. It really is. And the level of forgiveness that I have for my dad, it's crazy. It's crazy. And I'm also manifesting that nobody ever hears this story and judges him. No, he's too beautiful for that. He is God's child, and no one deserves to suffer anymore. So don't judge him, right? Like, let's not judge. Let's not judge lest you be judged, right? Because he did what he had to do. It was back in the 60s, right? He was born in the 60s and in the 70s. And so he became just a rebel. He was the pastor's kid, and he became a rebel. He opposed religion at every given turn as well. Didn't go and didn't really see the point. And so became like this, I heard headbanger, yeah, like, you know, just really into rock and roll and Ozzy and all the drugs, alcohol, rock and roll, like, you know, the girls, all that, you know. And he had to do what he thought society rejected him. He had to do the one thing that he thought he was good at: fighting. And he was so good at it that he became one of the top people in the military to teach other people how to also fight. But now he's so powerful, but now he fights for love. Why? Because I fucking say so. Period. Because I am God. And in my reality, he doesn't fight for the dark anymore. Nah, he fights for love, which means he's a powerhouse. He's a powerhouse. If he had all that momentum going to fight for the dark, and now I say, nope, you work for the light, period. End of story. Ooh, honey. He's going to represent the divine masculine collective for me. For me individually, he represents an entire fallen collective that is now rising up of the divine masculines. Distorted masculine, turning all prodigal son-like. That is what I am doing because I am God, period. And there is no other. Right? That's how you have to feel when it comes to manifesting. You have to say, I am God and there is no other. I am God. What I say goes. And know that. Know it. So anyway, I'm going to leave it here, but this was just such a profound change for me. And I wanted to share my story. Hopefully it can help some women who have been abused as well. Look, I'm not trying to invalidate your experience. Look, I didn't invalidate anything that just happened to me, did I? I'm simply revising it and saying that was one reality. I choose another because it's time. Because I want a better life. And I want a better life for him too. He suffered just as much, right? Why should I let him sit in guilt for the rest? That's horrible. He did what he had to do, right? So I think it's time that we all start realizing our true divinity, like who the fuck we are as God and Goddess, what we can do as a divine feminine. and masculine. It's time we rise up, guys. I love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.